Hi everyone, this is Mike Gorin here, and welcome back to my perfect playthrough of Tommy Lasorda Baseball. Last time, while explaining my thoughts on the game and how to play it, we had beaten the Giants 2-1. Here I'm going to show how to resume from where you've left off. Again, there's no save feature in this game, so we need to type in this really long password here. You may have noticed on the last screen of the previous episode, there were a bunch of letters at the bottom. That's the password you need to remember if you want to continue where you left off. Remember to differentiate between uppercase and lowercase, by the way. For the record, this will be the only time you'll ever see me type in one of these things. For the sake of convenience, I'll be using save states in between matches and just record immediately after where it could be assumed that said password was typed. You know, for convenience sake. For example, in this game in particular that you're about to see, I never really needed the save states. For the most part, everything basically played out with very little trouble. I only used a save state to skip past the password screen and then once again at the bottom of the knife in case things went wrong. Press start to confirm, and once again we have to face the Giants. Since there are no official walkthroughs anywhere online for this game, and even the long play pretty much skips to the very end of the season, I can only assume that all regular season matchups are going to be between you and each of your division rivals. Oh, I almost forgot. Since the first two innings are very uneventful, I might as well mention it now. On the password screen, you press B to confirm, A goes back a digit, and C goes forward. And of course, you press start to confirm. Easy? Okay, let's get on with this game. As I already said, the first two innings are very uneventful. Basically, what happens is that I swing lids in the strike zone, as in the ball isn't hovering over one of the batter boxes. It falls into a fielder's hands, they throw it to first, and then I'm out. Same thing occurs when my team takes the field. I pitch into the strike zone, CPU hits it, often very hard. It rolls or falls into a fielder's hands, and then I hold right and press C to throw to first for an out. Rinse, repeat for most of game 2. Makes it kind of boring to watch a full LP of this game, doesn't it? It's the main reason why I'm not requiring every game of the season to be a perfect game. Every once in a while things have to get pretty interesting. But for now, what you see is basically the entire game until the top of the third. As a result, coming up with things to say is a lot easier said than done. Especially since this game wound up not becoming a perfect game in the first place. If it was, I probably would have had a lot more to say on the matter. The most I have to say about the second inning was that I got my first man on base only to get a double out because the ball went airborne, and yet fell just short of a home run. That stung a little because then I'd be making a fist, raising my arm to the yell, and yelling, "Yes!" live for you all to hear. But I guess it wasn't meant to be, so let's move on. As you may have noticed at the top of the second, the key to winning each match is getting a man on base and making a move to steal it. The opposing AI is much faster at getting to the ball than you are at making it, so once you get a man on base, you gotta make absolute sure you are as close to the next base as possible. Unfortunately, due to the design of the D-pad, it is impossible to inch a guy closer to second base and another guy to home at the same time. Not on a Sega Genesis controller anyways. I'm playing on a keyboard, so that isn't a real issue to me, but for the sake of reenacting how an actual person would play on a Genesis, I will not be holding left and right or up and down at the same time. Gotta keep it authentic, if you will. Almost made a costly mistake there. This was a rare instance of the ball going airborne and the opposing outfielder not being able to catch it. Because of this was a rare occurrence where I was able to get a man on second. Again, hold the direction that corresponds to the base, and then press B to go there. If you wish to go back, press A instead. And because my hitter made it to first base right on time, I was able to make my first run of the game. Had that been an out, that would have been my third, and that would have been nullified as a result. Here, I start to get a bit cute with my pitches because every batter was starting to hit the ball really hard. As great a sound it is to hear it when you make those hits, it sounds equally as nerve-wracking when the CPU's up to bat and they continuously land these hard hits. It's a good thing I am still able to get these 3 outs, but it's rather concerning that I have yet to pull my pitcher out for somebody else. Maybe it's due to the very idea of a perfect game being assigned to just one pitcher as opposed to the entire team. But it's not like it really matters. None of the players in this game are real people. The game doesn't keep track of any of your stats outside of wins or losses. But it's the principle of the perfect game that matters to me, and that's all there is to it. And just for the record, you can pause the game to access the menu if you wish to make substitutions. With all that out of the way, I pretty much made a big mistake with my first hitter, and forgot the controls to turn him back around, and that's going to cost me a potential run in the top of the 4th. I did manage to successfully get another man on first, but it wound up not mattering in the end since I wound up empty-handed as a result. Don't believe me? Watch what happens.
Third baseman. Out. Out.
You saw that, didn't you? I got a man to home, and I still got the point nullified because he got the double out. It didn't even matter I already crossed home by that point, since the ball was airborne. That resulted in the point being null and void. I couldn't even turn my butt around. So I was basically screwed as a result. Okay, now here's the 5th inning that basically would cost me the perfect game. Now this is pretty much just a standard 5th inning right here. I don't get any men on base in this 5th inning. So well, I spoke too soon. I did get a man on first. And I basically turn my butt around. I keep anticipating those balls. I basically just hit it, but it doesn't matter. Because that's my 3rd out. And I'm not sure if this is the pitch that cost me. Doesn't look like it. Nope, that's not the pitch that would cost me the perfect game. I think it's this one, actually.
Second baseman. Out.
Nope, not that one either. Alright, it's the next one. It's the next. This is the. Yep, it's that one. I was not able to make this pitch on time, and not only did I give up a hit as a result, it was a save. It seems like it's always the 5th quarter where, and I try to get cute with the pitches. Really, just throw it to first. Watch Moneyball. You just throw it to first. And I will not give up another hit for the rest of the game. Yep, I will be posting a shutout the rest of the way. And without the use of save states, for the most part. The rest of the game is just pretty standard. I get 3 outs, they get 3 outs, rinse, repeat. As I was saying, it seems pretty evident to me anyways that for whatever reason, it's always the 5th inning where things start to fall apart, even when I'm doing very well. I wonder if there is some sort of rubber band effect going on with each individual game, where the AI simply gifts the CPU with a chance to come back. The game is plenty hard without any added computing tricks that simply exist to kick your ass, but I wouldn't put it past the developers to include a comeback feature of some sort. You know, games back then were plenty hard, and there were very few games where that included a save feature. Games that did keep track of your progress were mostly just adventure role-playing games. The objective was to otherwise maintain the arcade experience when bringing the game to consoles, and that included making the game as hard as possible. Tommy Lasorda Baseball is actually based on an arcade-style baseball game from Japan. I think it was originally called Super Baseball, and it actually did have the license for Japan's Baseball League. But when they brought it over to the States, they based the teams on the MLB teams that were around back in 1989. They simply lacked the MLB or MLBPA license, so they only had the city names and a bunch of made-up player names to go off of. This pitch is taking forever. And part of the reason was that this guy named Skiff kept pitching balls outside the strike zone. In fact, pretty much all the pitches appear to be out of the strike zone. So when I saw the last pitch was going to be in, I knew I had to make a swing at it even if I wasn't going to reach it. In those last 2 pitches, I was mostly just testing my pitcher's arm strength. Apparently his arm hasn't worn out just yet, and it's the bottom of the 7th. Kinda goes to show that no, making substitutions up in the pitcher's mound isn't really worth the effort unless it's the postseason. I actually checked ahead of time, and yes, the entire World Series must be played in succession. There are no passwords in between matches during the postseason. So when I get to these games, I'm gonna be sure to cover both postseason series in each of their own videos, rather than simply keeping them at roughly 15 minutes apiece. The 8th inning doesn't really have a whole lot going on, just swing in and out, one after another. It is, however, amusing that of all the times to score my first ever strikeout recorded, I managed to do so with the last man at bat at the bottom of the 8th. Funny how that works. Just need to get this guy out. And then I have to get this guy out.
Second baseman.
Pretty easy. But right now I'm basically just trying to goad this guy to swing at it, and he never does. I really don't know what makes the CPU not take a swing at any pitch you throw at him, but here we go. Now, even though I'm winning 1-0, I really have no safety net here. So deep down, I absolutely need to get a run in. Now the AI switches out Skiff for Moser. And it doesn't really change much because if I don't get another inning, I have absolutely no safety net. And this isn't going to be the hit that does it. I have no men on base. I have 2 outs. I absolutely need an extra point.
Right fielder.
And yes! I got one. I finally got one. I'm now up 2-0, so I can actually afford to make a couple mistakes now. Not too many, but at least I have a cushion in case things start going horribly bad in the 9th inning.
Out.
And we're right there. We're at the bottom of the 9th. And Moser's being switched out for Stahl.
baseman.
And they're all strong hits at this point, so I basically made an extra save state just in case things actually go wrong here.
Out.
I don't want to make it this far only to have to record this part all over again.
Shortstop.
But it turned out I don't really need the extra save state, and I won the game 2-0. And next time, I should say, we're gonna take on Game 3 and hopefully break our tie for first place with the Houston Astros. This is Mike Gordon, signing out.